Today I'm going to be going through my top 5 do's and don'ts for Pokemon card collecting. Okay, so seeing as I've been in this hobby for a little while now, I thought I'd try to create a little bit of a list for you guys. 5 do's and 5 don'ts for Pokemon card collecting. Obviously, this is just my own personal opinion, and obviously everyone has their own personal opinions, but I thought it would give you a little bit of insight on my own way that I like to collect. So let's just jump straight in. Okay, so let's start with the do's. So number 1, budget. Now this really depends on the kind of buyer you are in Pokemon cards, because if you're someone like me who really only kind of buys Pokemon cards on occasion, so like card shows or having like a specific night or whatnot where they're gonna like actually spend money, then setting a limit for those sort of days are completely vital. It just makes sure you keep yourself in check, and it also eliminates the possibility of you getting back home, looking at your phone, feeling guilt and thinking, oh my god. If you're someone who kind of buy things more on a whim, where they see something on Instagram or just scrolling through whatnot or anything like that, or eBay, then it's also a good idea to just have a bit of a buffer in your account, really, just to allow yourself to not be spending things that you should be spending on like more, let's say, practical items. Research. If you're looking to sell a card, especially if it's a higher end one, then make sure to look at the recently sold section on eBay, just to check how the prices are doing at the moment. This hobby is very, very much like stock, so if you can see that your card that you're trying to sell right now is a bit lower, but if you can see on the recently sold that it's gone up and down in the past, it might be worth just holding out a little bit longer just to try and see if it will go back up again. Obviously, this is just a guide, because sometimes when cards hit their peak and they start going down, then they might just keep going down, but to be honest, it's kind of all part of the learning process to like have a bit of trial and error, to be honest. A similar theory also applies to that of buying cards. If you're looking to buy a particular card but you can see, oh, it's a bit higher at the minute, but it has been lower in the past, you could hold out and wait to see if it goes back down a little bit, or you could take the risk, and that, or it could be a risk because you could see that it keeps going up after that. So it really is kind of just personal judgment and a bit of trial and error, to be honest. Also be sure to look at different websites or different tables at a card show, because prices can be very, very different between vendors and you never know what you could find. Organisation. Personally, organising is literally half the fun for me in this hobby, but I really truly know that for a lot of people that is absolutely not the case. So it doesn't have to be a perfectly uniform, organised system, but the one thing that I really do recommend is to create a notes page on your phone or on your laptop, whatever you want, and just create a list of where everything is. Like in my one, I have every ETB that I own on my big ETB wall, if you've seen that. I've just basically got loads of doubles in them. So like in my 1511, I have Twilight Masquerade doubles and 151 doubles. And now I know that if someone asks me, oh, do you have this particular card, I can go instantly straight away there, and it just makes your life so much easier in the future. So trust me, if you're going to do one thing, just write down a list of where everything's stored. Follow as many sellers and content creators as possible. Of course, this is a good idea to get the cards that you want as quickly as possible, because you can jump on it as soon as they post it, but I'm more talking about this from an inspiration standpoint. Everyone sells and collects completely different things, and so sometimes if you're scrolling online and you see one person's collection to another, it might just spark some inspiration in you so that you can have an idea for what you want to collect next. So just make sure to broaden your horizons and don't be stuck on certain people because you know that you like the way they collect, because you never know, there could be someone around the corner that has this brand new way that just lightens up your collection ideas. Taking breaks. Now, there are different reasons as to why you might have to take a break. It could be a very literal financial situation where you just genuinely don't have extra cash to be spending on cards right now. Or it could just be a bit of fatigue because you feel like you've overdone it recently. Either way, it is more than okay to leave it for a bit and come back. It will reignite your excitement, and this community is so welcoming that as soon as you come back in and say, what have I missed? Everyone will come together and help you get back up to date. Now let's move on to the don'ts. Setting too harsh limits. Now this is kind of a hot take on my end, because a lot of the time you'll hear other people advising you to set your sights on one thing in particular so that you don't overspend, which I completely understand. But in my personal opinion, it is very fun to have collection challenges, but not exclusively. You may walk around a show or be on whatnot and go, oh gosh, I really love the look of that card, but then like, no, I can't possibly get that. And in my opinion, that will just really slowly grate on your passion for this hobby, and then it will end up you just kind of falling out of love with it. So if you see a card that you really like, just go for it, but make sure to keep the budget in mind, that still counts. Be afraid to ask. Everyone in this community is so welcoming, and we all started from somewhere, so there's never a question that's too silly or too small. In fact, I don't know if this does apply to everyone, but for me, I absolutely love it when people actually come and ask me questions about anything to do with cards. It wasn't like a huge amount of time ago where I was the one in the newbie position, so the fact that I now have this immense amount of knowledge that I can help other people is genuinely so amazing. This idea of not being afraid to ask also applies to negotiating, i.e. don't be afraid to ask for a lower but reasonable price. This hobby thrives off a bit of bargaining and a bit of negotiating, so don't think you're being rude to ask for a lower price, but you do have to prepare to have maybe a little bit of a haggle and meet in the middle somewhere with the end price. Get FOMO. There are constantly changing trends in this hobby, and it would be literally impossible to try and keep up with all of them. Whether it's one particular card that everyone's trying to hunt down or a new collection challenge that everyone's really excited about, that doesn't mean that you also have to be doing it too. I have so many little niche things that I love to collect, and that just makes it more enjoyable for me on my own collecting journey. So yes, sometimes it is nice to join in with the community for a particular trend that's going on, but also allow yourself to just watch on the side and enjoy the things that you like most about this hobby. Be afraid to sell/trade. I am definitely guilty of this because I'm definitely someone who goes like, oh, what if I want it down further in the line? But it is a pivotal part of this hobby. Obviously, if you're looking to be more serious in the Pokemon cards hobby or business, if you want to go down that route, obviously the selling and trading is literally pivotal because that's what your income's going to come off from. But even just as a side hobby, it is genuinely a massive part. Whether it's a good card that you pulled on your own but you're not really that attached to, or if it's a card you bought a little while ago and you kind of just lost your love for it a little bit, just have a think about selling it and possibly getting some money out of it. Doing this allows you to progress on your current collecting journey without having to spend loads and loads of real physical cash, because you can use your old Pokemon cards as a form of like a bargain for a trade and stuff like that. And finally, compare yourself to others. I know you probably hear this all the time, but it's genuinely so true. I'm definitely guilty of this, but I genuinely think that everyone is kind of guilty of it to a certain extent. Comparing yourself to others will always take the spark out of this hobby for you. Whether you've been collecting for a month, a year, 10 years, there's always going to be someone that has better stuff than you. But everyone had to start from somewhere, and not everyone has the funds or the capability to be able to create such a huge, expansive collection. So just focus on your passion, the way you like to collect, and don't be thinking about what everyone else is doing. And I just have one more just to wrap it all up together, and it is have fun. I know it is literally the ultimate cliche you've heard from absolutely everyone, but it is so true. If you're not having fun, then just take a moment to take a step back, reevaluate your own relationship with the hobby, and just see where the spark has gone. I know for some it is literally their main income, but for the majority of us it is a hobby, and hobbies are meant to be just for pure joy, excitement, and an escape from reality. So all I'm saying is to make sure to keep it that way. And there you have it. That is my top 5 do's and top 5 don'ts for Pokemon card collecting. Obviously, as I've said, this is my own personal take on it. Everyone has different ways of doing it. We're all roughly the same. Obviously, there are some that overlap and everything like that. But I thought I'd just share my influence on it as someone coming from someone who is obviously very big in the hobby, knows a lot about the hobby, but obviously I have my own limitations and everything like that because of my age, because of uni, so yeah, it's just probably nice to be able to get point of view from someone who's not maybe doing it full time or anything like that. So I hope you guys did enjoy. Please make sure to like, subscribe, share around. We've been still ticking up on the old subscribers. We're getting closer and closer to 600 as well. So thank you so much for all the support. It's mind-blowing and I'm so grateful for it. Thank you so much. And next weekend is the Card of Cards show, so make sure to stick around for that. Comment down below if you agree with me on any of the ones that I pointed out today, or if you have any more that you want to point out down below, because everyone in this community is really helpful and really welcoming. So if you have any do's or don'ts that you want to put down in the comments for everyone else to read, then I'll pin them as well, and yeah, make sure that other people can be aware of them. Also, a quick shout out for my Instagram, because I am doing my daily calendar opening, because it is December now somehow. So yeah, you want to see me opening my TCG Pokemon TCG calendar every day of the week, then make sure to go and follow my Instagram. It is in the description below. But for now, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!